All right, so we're at the point now. We're getting ready to install our fuel pump. So we did drop out the tank. This thing was pretty dirty, so I took the time. I got it all cleaned up. Everything is out. Everything came out not too bad. Some rust, but I did find some damage here on this wiring. So we're going to be having to fix the plug end. But with that being said, we're ready to get our new fuel pump installed into our tank. All right, so this has 2 feed to rail. So it had the fitting in it right there. So I got the fitting screwed into our fuel rail right here, and this can get connected onto that, and it'll run out through and then down to where the filter is, because we have 8 feed and we're going to have 6 return. This right here will get connected to the rail. Also, I got the fuel pressure gauge mounted onto the rail already. And I ordered and acquired some clips for our fuel line to feed on canister. And then that one will go to here. And then this is our return. And it's labeled return from bottom of regulator to canister. Okay, so let's get this tapped out. I think there is a little bit of gas in here, but we're going to go and get all new gas. So I'll have to get this drained. But let's get our fuel line here hooked up quick. Well, actually, I think what I'll do is I'll get our rail mounted in case I have to, or I'll get the regulator mounted to the rail here in case I got to change anything here. So we're just going to unscrew this one. All right, so anytime you have anything with the rubber ring, which is, I believe they call that ORB, I always want to put a little bit of grease on these when you're getting them assembled. Okay, so this was a fitting that I had received. Will it work for this? Yes, but it's not even the right one that's supposed to go into here because it's flanged. This is the old style that you would connect to your rail. Some people say that these were weak and they would break. That's why I have this. We did replace this once, but I'm going to use this for now, and I'm going to order the right one that goes in here so that it's a solid piece, and basically it has an O-ring, and you kind of screw it in on this side, and then a nut comes over and you can lock this where you need to. So I just got to find that fitting, and hopefully I'll be able to, and it'll make everything work. But we'll screw this right into this. I got to put a little bit of grease on this end. I'm going to re-bolt down my fuel rail, get my injectors put back in. Like I said, this isn't the last time that this is going to be coming off of here. All right. So there we go. There's our stock rail back, or our rail back. I'm going to get it bolted down, and then I'll show you what this looks like when it's together. All right, so not exactly ideal, but once I get this right one here, it'll be like similar to the one that I have on my orange car. Like I said, I got to pull it off and I'll just match it up. I'll probably order like maybe 2 or 3 of them just so I know I have them, because I'm doing a lot more of this stuff now. Okay, so our return line will dip out of here, come across. I'll probably bring it out through right here, and it'll go up and down. I'm going to get our feed here uncoiled, and I'm going to get that set into place. All right, so pretty much we have our return line running down underneath through here and coming across the top, and we have them tucked down here. Okay, so everything still needs zip tied in. I think I might bring this around over through here and then attach it on the bottom here through this. Sometimes I've seen them run through here. It kind of holds it back. It'll tuck them down underneath and they'll be out of the way. Usually try to make sure that nothing is near here. I'm not sure on what length I have here. So if I have this and I can turn it and come down and twist and go down underneath, I'll probably end up running it that way. But there's our lines. They're down underneath. Back at it again. So right now we're at the point where we're removing the ring to remove the old fuel pump assembly. I'll just set them there on my workbench. Okay. Nice original OEM well-aged pump. Pretty clean in there. There's maybe a gallon. I'm going to get that out of there because we don't want to start a motor on ugly fuel. Alright, well, nothing fun about that. Have a little bit of old gas on my shoe, and well, the tank's empty, so we have our new seal, our new fuel pump assembly. Okay, sit like this. You can get the boot up on here. Now we need to install our float. All right, oh, pretty easy. Good old 525 down in here. When you're installing these, they have a tab, and then you have your seal. The tabs here. I normally like to just, this is WD-40, buy by the gallon. I usually just try to soak this seal a little bit. Makes it slide in a little easier. So I'll get my seal inserted into my tank. And then line my notch up, which is up here at the top. Man, the seal is just a little bit disagreeable in comparison to the last couple I've had. Extremely disagreeable. Nothing but issues. Okay. Is that it? Is that going in? Now we're caught on the second flap. Just do it like this. Push it down a little bit. There. Okay. Alright, we got the fuel pump. It's seated. Let's break out our ring. These always suck to install also, by the way. Okay. Whew. Last one I had a catch in here, but it had a different fitting end on it because it had dual pumps. So the stock goes in here a whole lot easier. Seems like it's pretty tight, but I'm still going to give it a little tap. Alright. There's the fuel pump. Fuel pump's installed. I still have to get the wiring fixed up and then install the tank, and then we can finish installing our lines, and then we'll get everything buttoned up. It's just part of the whole deal. This is a bigger build. There's lots of other things going on outside of this video. If you're watching some of the other stuff, you'll see it. So I do try to break them down when it comes to like certain stuff like this, because this is the first time I've had one of the Johnny Boost fuel systems to install. And like I said, I'm not sure what all normally comes with these, but this one was ordered with a 525 with an E85 sender 8 feed, 6 return with a filter, with everything that was supposed to go to the boomba fuel rail, with the regulator mounted on it. It did not come with any of these. I had to buy all of them separate. So we're very close to getting this thing set up. It's weird that it's got green on that end. It's kind of funny. So I'm not sure. I've never heard of this manufacturer here. So all right, so we can get a little bit better view here. This is what we got to fix. I'm not sure what happened. Something got chewed on, like this one here. Just right apart. So I'm going to try to solder and shrink tube this stuff and fix this wiring. So first thing we gotta do is we gotta get this here cut back. And we can see here we have blue one, it's messed up. The green one here must have stayed in there. Yep, look at that. There's our green wire. We might just end up, because that one's damaged in 2 spots. I might end up pinning this out and just sticking the new one in here from this one. So let's do that, and I'll show you how to get that apart. Boys, we got the great toolbox workbench here. So you want to undo this up top, pop this off. Actually, see, they're on the sides here. So we'll get this up without stabbing yourself. Okay. I just kind of get in here, kind of pick at this seal a little bit, slide it back, right? And then these in here, just kind of pop up on that. See, it comes right out. Pull that out all the way. You can look down in there and you can see the pins now. So we need this green one here on the end. So we're gonna reach in here, lift this up, pull this wire out. Okay, so now we have an undamaged, good length of wire that's going to go directly into our plug. It might have been easier for me just to swap. You know, you could have did this 2 different ways. You could have swapped this plug end and pulled the 2 black ones out, and then, you know what I mean, left the greens in here. But since we're only doing the 2, and we're not doing the whole plug end, I'm just going to pull the blue one out too. All right, so there you go. That's all you need to do to get these apart. That's the locking clip. It'll kind of just, like, they'll just set like that when they're made or assembled, and then your seal's usually pushed in because it doesn't need to be the whole way out. And then when you put these in, you got to make sure that they're in the right way. You can see how it's shaped. And then it has the holder plugs on both sides. And if you look in here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera, you can see the metal, which is this top part right here. That's actually closer to the middle. So if you're holding this and your red lock, you would slide it in and go to the top, and it would lock up into that plug. So I'm going to get these leads inserted into our plug. We'll get all of our wire stripped, and we'll get everything soldered and shrink tube together. All right, so we have our wiring. It's all fixed here now. Basically what this is going to do, this is going to feed, we need this plug to read the fuel sending unit, and it's going to power our relay for our fuel pump rewire, which is up there and we'll be installing. So all we have to do now is just get everything reattached. There's a couple hoses here that need to go on. I'm going to throw a little bit of WD-40 in here. It's going to make this thing slide together a whole lot easier. And we're going to get the fuel tank up in. Not really anything anybody needs to see. So we're going to get that all taken care of. and tucked up. But this is what this looks like. Normally I pull this out of the way. Where's that? Because it has a bolt. I call these like a stud bolt. So it's like a bolt and then it has a stud coming off of it. This runs up in to the strap on this side. Then the other side here, where's that? The other side of this bracket, which is actually, it's right there, slides up over this bolt, and then a nut goes on, and then it just gets a straight bolt on the other side. So I'm gonna get this tank in. So we have the fuel tank completely installed. Here's what our fuel unit looks like in. I just tucked the factory line up in there. You can remove it from the car if you so desire. It could be something, if I was going to do it, I could. You could cut it out. Normally I like to try to save them because sometimes you end up having to reuse them on stock cars. So I have my lines connected. I don't know if it's just me, but the return looks like it's a little short, but it might not be. It's kind of hanging there. And then our feed is sitting here. All right, we're gonna get it connected to, obviously, this side says outlet. So we're coming in on the other side. All right, so we just have to find a place to mount that, and then our line that runs to the front is there. So I'm gonna bring it over, get it connected, make sure stuff's not twisted over before I go setting everything in place. This bracket did come with 2 bolts to set it. They look like they're 8 mils, so we'll get the correct part for that. And then we'll worry about getting the rest of our lines put up in place. Then we'll run this and get it taken care of. All right, here we go. All right, the clamps that I picked worked out pretty good. Just got these off of Amazon. They are 1/2-inch fuel line tubing, and there was 10 pieces in there. I still actually have 2 left. Okay. And then the wonderful cell tappers. Well, you don't know where these come in. I guess you're hanging under a rock. Thank you, Harbor Freight. You do have some good stuff, but as you can see, we have a combination of those ties and some zip ties holding our fuel system in. Routed down around here pretty nice. I usually like to try to get it over farther away. Some people actually mount this up over here and then run the lines across. I usually, I don't like that. This seems to work out okay. I haven't had any problems. Also, I want to make a note. I've seen a lot of these wrecked, and they'll bend that bracket in up there. So I'd like to try to watch where I have those run up there. Now, very simply, like I said, everything's together. I did tighten these fittings up. I did not use the proper wrench, but I was gentle. So all that's taken care of. All we have to do is fix this up just a little bit through here yet. Like I said, it seemed like our return was just likened to be on the short side. So this is where that's going to lay. Our feed kind of is just going to end up being here. I'm going to put a clamp in that one. These I'm going to zip tie back over. Like I said, it just seemed short for me. It would have been nice if that was just a little bit longer. Like I said, there's no distance to be made up here. Because like I said, I don't like it being through there. Let me see. Maybe I can. And through there, maybe. That would keep it. But like I said, I've seen these wrecked. And this will come over and actually hit this cam gear. So you kind of want to keep these out of the way. And if someone was running a car, you know, they'd be a little bit different. Ideally, I would think that if you had this stuff set up, there would be like a little piece of paper. You know, if you just took a picture, you could draw like this is where you want to mount stuff. This is where it worked out the best when I installed this stuff if I was making a kit. Like I said, I had a kit from somebody else, and it was kind of, you know, test, see, fit, how's it going to be, okay? The last car, I just modified the fuel lines because I was making the lines, and it didn't turn out to be too bad. And I could make them whatever length I wanted, and I ran the stuff where I wanted it, had everything nice and tucked, out of the way of any moving parts, and it all worked out well. So I'm gonna throw a couple zip ties. Like I said, we still got to get our wastegate down through here. We are going to run into some problems with this line. It is actually bent away from the firewall more than what it should be. So I got to get that shaped up. I wish that would have been something I would have did before. So I'm going to throw a couple zip ties in here, see which way I can get this thing to fit up. I mean, honestly, like if this was a little bit shorter, it would also look a little bit better. But it is what it is. All right. All right. So I had one of these fittings. It was for 6-line. It seemed to work out okay. I just dropped one zip tie there. And it looks like it's going to work out okay. Maybe I can try to get another one in from down at the bottom when I'm straightening the line out. But right now we're at the point where we need to get some fuel, and we'll throw it in. We'll get everything powered up. We'll test everything out. We're going to jump out our relay, which is here. So we'll get that removed a while. And we'll get our Allen wrenches that we're going to need to set our pressure. And got a little jump wire here. Jump out my pins. With the battery in there, my fuel pressure regulator will work. We'll get a Allen wrench that we need and the nut, and we'll open this up. But right now we need to go get some fuel. All right, so we have our wrench. I have a ratchet here so that I can adjust the fuel pressure. We just installed our brand new battery, as you can see. We put in like 5.5 gallons of gas. This is going to be our first test. There we go. All right, we're set at 50. Right there, that's what it looks like. Everything looks good. I don't see no leaks. Let's run this up just a little bit. 58's factory pressure. Let's lock this thing down. Let's just check this out. Nothing. Good cold fuel pressure. Let's check back here around our filter. Oh, we got a leak. No good. Off of our return line. All right. Luckily that was on our return side. That's what you do to fully check your fuel system. Everything looks good. No leaks. We got everything tightened up. Pump is not that loud. So that's actually pretty cool. It's not a loud pump. But we have everything set. This is our this. We don't need that in there anymore. We're going to install our, well, I'm going to let that loose because the next part of this, we're going to be starting this engine up. But that's going to finish up our fuel system, and that's it, man. It's installed. Everything's together. You'll see more on a lot of this stuff in the overall videos on this car. But I got to getting this thing started up, and we're going to be breaking in a new motor, and that's for another video. See ya.